President-elect Biden prepares to transition while President Trump's team continues to challenge the results. I'm Natalie Brandt in Wilmington, Delaware, with what Biden's hometown is saying about the election.
A rise in coronavirus cases in Joplin leads to questions about the possibility of another city mask mandate. Pharmaceutical company Pfizer says its experimental COVID-19 vaccine is 90% effective.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Joe Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris have begun putting together a team to take over the reins of the government on January 20th. This is KOAM News at 5. Meanwhile, President Trump is making some personnel changes of his own. Reporter Natalie Brandt has the latest from Wilmington, Delaware.
In his first act as president-elect, Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris met virtually with their newly formed coronavirus task force.
It's time to end the politicization of basic, responsible public health steps like mask wearing and social distancing.
While the Biden-Harris team prepares for the transition, the government agency that oversees the formal process has yet to sign the letter needed to provide office space and funding. President Trump's team insists the election is not over.
We're going to go and pursue all of these legal means, all of the recount methods. We're going to continue exposing and investigating all these instances of fraud or abuse.
On Monday, President Trump also announced the firing of Defense Secretary Mark Esper. In a tweet, the president said he's being replaced by Christopher C. Miller, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. This comes around 70 days before the new administration begins. Here in Wilmington, Delaware, where Biden's name and presence are everywhere, including the train station, there's a feeling of hope that Biden can bring back a sense of bipartisanship.
We used to ride the train together.
Former Delaware Congressman Tom Evans, a Republican, says he voted for Biden.
I think he can bring the country together. I think he can help unite this country.
Locals describe Mr. Biden as a friendly face in the community, from local restaurants to the market near his home.
Overall, I think there's a source of pride. One of their own has now ascended to the presidency, coming from such a small state.
And they're cheering him on as he prepares to move to the White House. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
The Trump campaign has filed an appeal in their Michigan case that was dismissed last week, but for now it's not being accepted by the court. Chris Warner joins us now with a first look at the weather. Starting off the work week pretty mild, Chris.
We are starting the week off pretty mild, but unfortunately that's going to change over the next 24 hours. Right now, though, Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us not much going on, but we are watching some activity out to our west. It's going to try and make its way in here later this evening and early tomorrow morning, associated with a cold front that's going to change those temperatures that you see right now. We're all still sitting in the upper 70s, mid 70s there, not too shabby. But again, we do have changes on the way, but not for a little bit. We're going to cool back down under clear skies, and they're going to start to get pretty cloudy as the evening progresses, dipping back down to about the mid 60s. But bear those mid 60s in mind for our high temperatures. We'll tell you a little bit more about those changes coming up in just a bit. Now.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Chris. COVID-19 cases are on the rise in Joplin. According to the Joplin Health Department, there are currently 332 active cases within Joplin city limits. The increasing number raises the question of whether the city might impose a mask mandate. Some residents are wearing masks into businesses and around town, while others are not. We observed people inside the Joplin Public Library and Home Depot. It appeared that just under 70% of people were wearing masks inside Home Depot. Just over 70% wore them in the library. Mayor Ryan Stanley says a mask mandate is possible, but they're looking for more regional support first.
We'd much rather and much prefer to do this as a region, and so we're really leaning into our medical community, certainly the health departments, both for the city of Joplin, but also for the county of Jasper and also Newton County, to kind of give us direction, and if we are moving forward with any kind of conversation, to do it as a regional approach.
You can find a link to Joplin's coronavirus dashboard with the latest numbers and information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. City of Joplin and Freeman Health System unveil plans for this year's Christmas parade. Cruisin' to Christmas is the theme, named to match the big change to the parade. This year it'll be drive-through style. Instead of the floats driving down Main Street, They'll be stationary as spectators drive by. Freeman Health System organized the parade for the 7th year in a row and wanted to find a way to keep the parade but still stay safe.
We have a committee at Freeman Health System, and I credit them with coming up with this brilliant idea of having a reverse parade so that people can be safe in their cars, but still entities and individuals and floats can enter the parade and have their normal festivities.
The Joplin Christmas Parade will be on December 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. The Pittsburgh Parade will follow another drive-through plan. That one's going to be on November 30th. We'll hear more about the plans tonight at 6. Brings us to today's KOAM News Now Insta Poll. Today's question is, do the new plans for the Joplin and Pittsburgh Christmas parades make you more likely or less likely to attend? You can vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on them periodically throughout this newscast. Still ahead, Volvo announces a recall.
Another automaker is announcing a recall involving airbags. I'm Chris Martinez with why there are still millions of potentially dangerous vehicles on the road.
And next in Health Watch, Pfizer says its experimental coronavirus vaccine works. We'll look at the next steps. The U.S. has reported more than 100,000 COVID cases per day for the last 5 days. That's 583,000 over that time. Now the drug company Pfizer is offering some hope, saying its experimental vaccine works. Nancy Chen reports.
Pfizer says early data shows its experimental coronavirus vaccine is more than 90% effective, and it will submit an emergency use authorization with the FDA once its trial is completed in 2 weeks.
We have been working basically around the clock for 8 months. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, medical advance in the last 100 years.
Pfizer says it has 50 million doses ready to go. About half will go to Americans. And the drug company says it will be able to manufacture at least 1.3 billion doses next year. Coronavirus cases are now rising in 26 states, with 41 states seeing a rise in hospitalizations. In Texas, the city of El Paso has brought in 10 mobile morgues. Missouri's governor called up the National Guard to help expand testing. Inside many Nebraska businesses, masks are now required. In Utah, there's a new statewide mask mandate, and this order from the governor.
Utahns may not participate in or host casual social gatherings with individuals other than those in their immediate household for the next 2 weeks.
Alaska, Arkansas, New Mexico, and Colorado all recently hit record daily case numbers. That prompted Denver's mayor to impose a 10 p.m. curfew.
Now, new worries of an even larger spike. This weekend, tens of thousands participated in mass gatherings, including here in Times Square, to both protest and celebrate the presidential election results.
Health experts fear there were possible super spreader events.
Anytime when you put that many people in close proximity, you do run the risk of that transmission.
And the Irish have knocked off.
The Notre Dame students who rushed the football field Saturday are now required to get a COVID test before they leave for winter break. University officials say students who don't get a test won't be allowed to register for classes next semester. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Pfizer says first in line for the vaccine would be medical workers, first responders, and the elderly, and the company is working with the U.S. military to distribute it. Every patient needs 2 doses. 1 in 5 children have a parent who's hesitant about vaccines. A new survey published in the journal Pediatrics finds that uncertainty can impact some parents' decisions about flu vaccines. The flu vaccine is recommended for everyone 6 months of age and older. New research finds vaping can lead to traditional smoking for teens, even when they don't have intentions to pick up the habit. A Children's National Hospital study looked at about 8,600 adolescents and found among kids who had said they had no plans to smoke, those who used e-cigarettes were 4 times more likely to start. Older men are being underdiagnosed and undertreated for osteoporosis. That's according to new research from the American College Rheumatology's annual meeting. Osteoporosis results from loss of bone mass and change in bone structure. Researchers say screening recommendations needed to be more consistent for men. We're going to check back in with our KOAM News Now instant poll. Again, our question today is, do the new plans for the Joplin and Pittsburgh Christmas parades make you more or less likely to attend? At this point, 20% say more likely, 80% say they are less likely. You can join in the conversation by voting at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. A little bit later, some stores are re-implementing limits on the amount of toilet paper and disinfecting wipes people can buy.
Plus, temperatures look pretty good right now, but there are changes on the way. Full forecast coming up. We saw another pretty mild day today, along with some breezy conditions. Those breezy conditions are ushering in changes, but no changes over the last 36 hours. We take a look at the temperature trends. You can see they've been quite mild, quite lovely, and definitely above where we usually sit for this time of the year. In fact, 78 Sunday, aiming for 79 today. Can't complain about that, but changes are coming. Right now, though, still pretty good. 74 is what it is. 74 is what it feels like. Wind still gusting up there. It's breezy, about 17 miles an hour. Humidity and dew point, not too high yet, but those will be slightly on the rise. Temperatures across the area looking about the same as we sit into the lower to mid 70s across most of the region, as you can see. 73 Pittsburgh, 74 Parsons, 75 out there in Sedan. Not too shabby, though, for this time of the year. The wind we were talking about starting to calm down just a little bit, but it's going to pick back up here before too much longer. And you can see it's a southerly breeze that's been ushering in these warm temperatures. The wind, as mentioned, is going to continue to be gusty. This is the Gust Tracker heading into tomorrow morning. You're going to wake up 27, 26 Miami, 27 Parsons, pretty breezy. But there's going to be some changes. So once the winds move through, you know what's going to push these winds through is our next weather makers. See, they calm down. They get pretty nice after a little while. So let's go ahead and get into that. For the rest of this evening, cooling back off into the upper 60s. We're going to head for about 68 for an overnight low tonight. But that 68 is something key because that is about as warm as it's going to get come tomorrow. So let's go ahead and start talking about tomorrow. We've got clear skies, but you can see some activity here. You can see some further activity out here in Kansas, and that is because of a cold front. We put the winds on there so you can see where that cold front lies. Firing up some thunderstorms in southwestern Kansas over by Dodge City. And that activity, not necessarily going to make it here this evening, but it is going to be on its way as we look into the future. Showers, thunderstorms by the time you wake up tomorrow. 68, as we said, is where we're going to start the day, and that is not going to stick around. Here comes that cold front. Thunderstorms by tomorrow morning. Not too shabby, but then the temperatures begin to drop. We get clear of the thunderstorms by about noon. 61, breezy from the west. Winds shift to the northwest, and that temperature falls by tomorrow afternoon. 53 by 4 o'clock, and you can see that once that cold front kicks on out of here. 50s for most of us, 44 over in the 8th center. Pretty chilly, and again, it's not going to recover all much. See these 30s? That's where we're going to be heading by the time we get into Wednesday, and then again, not rebounding much from there. But here's the deal, though. These are more fall-like temperatures as we head into the upper 50s across the area. So we're going to take a look. This storm system, not necessarily a big rainmaker, but it's not going to be too shabby. We're going to pick up about a quarter, half inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain for some of us. And we do have more weather on the way as we head into the weekend. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Here we see a 7-day forecast, though. Mild temperatures, not too bad out there. Rain chances coming back, though, by Friday and Saturday. But otherwise, temperatures not looking too bad overall. Just got to get through a little bit of rain here and there.
Yeah, looks like November, I guess.
It does. It certainly does.
Thanks. Coming up, details on a recall of airbags in some older Volvo models. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Michael Mason served in the U.S. Army from 1972 to 75. The Fredonia, Kansas native was stationed in the Panama Canal Zone, and we salute Private First Class Michael Mason, a 4-state hero.
Help us rescue Chris.
Stores across the country are again starting to cap the amount of toilet paper and other household goods people can buy. At Kroger, customers can purchase a maximum of only 2 items like paper towels, toilet paper, and disinfecting wipes. Some H-E-B stores have also announced similar limits. Buyer beware of bogus sites selling Lysol wipes. The Federal Trade Commission says at least 25 websites have been selling the products without delivering them to buyers. The sites are designed to look like legitimate sellers of Clorox and Lysol disinfecting wipes and lure in consumers by using internet search engines and pop-up ads. There's a new airbag recall after one driver died. The latest announcement follows years of recalls involving tens of millions of vehicles. At least 17 people in the U.S. have been killed by defective airbags. But as Chris Martinez reports, there are still millions of them in vehicles today.
Volvo says airbags inside some of their older cars are potentially dangerous. The government released the recall after one driver was killed when parts of the airbag inflator exploded and flew out. The recall covers 54,000 S60 and S80 models from 2001 to 2003, sold or registered in 12 states, mostly in the South. The inflators were made by the company ZFTRW and are different than those from Takata, which caused the largest series of auto recalls in U.S. history, affecting almost every automaker. At least 63 million Takata airbags were recalled, but government regulators say around 11 million have not been fixed and could still be on the road. Police say this summer a woman in Mesa, Arizona died when shrapnel from the airbag in her recalled Honda hit her in the neck.
Take it seriously. Recalls are only about safety issues. They're only about something that is dangerous or a violation of federal standard.
Jason Levine with the Center for Auto Safety says many owners don't realize their vehicles have a problem.
You know, it's unfortunately common for recall notices not to reach the current owner of a vehicle. If you're the second, you're the third owner of a vehicle, the manufacturer might not have your information easily accessible.
That's why experts say it's important to visit safercar.gov. Anyone can enter their vehicle's VIN number to see if it's under a recall. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All repairs made under a recall are free. Experts say you should also check the VIN number when buying a used car. Currently, there is no federal law against selling a used car with an open recall. President Trump will lose his special Twitter privileges when he leaves office on January 20th. The company says it does not remove most tweets from leaders that violate its policies because it believes, quote, people should be able to choose to see what their leaders are saying with clear context. But the company confirmed that former leaders are not subject to the same leniency and could have their accounts suspended or deleted for rule-breaking posts. Final check of the forecast next. CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6. A new social media network is growing in popularity because of its limited moderation on what users can say. But it still offers tools to block certain users or even terms. Plus, we're going to have more details on the city of Pittsburgh's Christmas parade plans. And Carl Junction football is headed to the district championships this week. We're going to hear from that team as they prepare to face West Plains. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Take another look at our KOAM News Now Instapoll. Again, we've been asking, do the new plans for the Joplin and Pittsburgh Christmas parades make you more likely or less likely to attend? So far, 24% say more likely, 76% say less likely. You do still have time to participate at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Checking back in with Chris now for a final look at the weather.
Now, we do have some changes on the way. A few showers and thunderstorms sometime early tomorrow morning is when those are going to move in. They're going to be associated with a cold front that's going to drop temperatures. So we're going to see a high at about 1 a.m. in the upper 60s. And we're going to drop into the 50s. Another chance of showers and maybe even a thunderstorm or two coming into Friday and Saturday. But otherwise, temperatures returning to fall-like conditions.
Thanks for joining us. Again, CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.